Okay, I'm going to give about another half a minute to get this written down into your planners. And while you're writing, I kind of want to show you something that I just finally realized I could do. I realized that on my agenda for the week, I can actually connect the worksheet. Okay, so if you click on worksheet, you can see that it will take you to a PDF of today's worksheet. So when you go to look in my Google Classroom, if you're absent, you can actually get a copy of the worksheet there. I still will be adding them to our Google Classroom color groups so that you can use Cami if you're at home. Okay, most of the kids in my group are ready, so I'm going to move on to the next screen. Please have a different colored pen or pencil ready so that you can check your work. Okay, we will be making corrections if we have errors. Okay, if you don't have an extra pen or pencil, in my classroom I have extra colored pencils and those will work too. So you may go ahead and use those if you need to. And you're also going to notice that in the answer key right here, it just has regular answers. But over here, I gave the solved problems. Remember I said to solve 17 through 24? Because there was enough information then to solve those. And then I also asked you to solve 31 through 34. So please check those. And if you disagree with any of them, I'd like to know. Yeah, I just had a student come up and ask for number 7, what if I wrote 12 plus x? That's okay. That is the commutative property of addition. No matter which order you add, you're going to get the same answer.
And just an extra x.
Okay, get rid of the extra x.
Is that something?
Same thing happens on number 10. If you put 8 plus x, that is okay. Don't come up here, please.
No, what about 8? If you did that, x times 6.
For number 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Hey, I had somebody say, what if I used a multiplication sign for x times 6? Is that okay? Yeah, that's okay. But most commonly, when we're working in algebra, we stand the coefficient right next to the variable, and that tells us this is multiplication. Okay, anytime there's a number standing next to a letter, it tells us there's multiplication. So that's a better answer. So I would change that or write 6x next to it because that's a better way to do it.
I did it this way for 10.
And I just got done saying on number 10, if you wrote 8 plus x, it's just as okay as writing x plus 8.
I wrote plus something.
Then that's incorrect. Miss Danielle, do you have a paper like this in your bin? There should be. Did you look through all your papers?
I did 13 this one.
Yeah.
That's not.
It says you can use the multiplication sign. I just like it when you use the coefficient with the variable right next to it to symbolize the fact that you're multiplying. So I keep getting similar questions. Mrs. Franzen, on number 17, what if I did 5 times W equals 15? That's okay. Okay. It's just better to write your multiplication with your coefficient standing right next to the variable. Okay, it's the better way. So if you didn't do it that way, please mark down that you should have done it that way or could have done it that way. And then also remember, if you're checking that far already, we're going to check over here to see if our solving of those questions was accurate. And these are the ones I did myself really quickly. Okay. So if you disagree with any of those, let me know. Carson? Not during a math lesson. I'm going to give you about 2.5 more minutes to finish checking your work. And then we'll move on. Okay, so what are you going to do? Put the correct answer down. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll know my class is done once they went ahead and put their paper in the bin. Remember, I'm unmuted, so try to do it as silently as you can. I'll know you're done once you put your paper back in the bin. Without talking. So small. Okay. I would say the majority of my class is done. So I'm going to go ahead and assume the rest of the classes have checked their work and then put in correct answers for the ones they missed and done some reflecting on their mistakes. Okay. Let's move to the next one. Now in this one, I'm just going to have you do this in your head. You don't need anything on your desk or anything like that. Just think about whether A would go with 1, 2, 3, or 4. Would B go with 1, 2, 3, or 4, and so on. Okay, so the difference of would be B, subtraction, right? When you're asked to find the difference between numbers, it's subtraction. Number 2, the product of. C, multiplication. Product is the word that we use to describe an answer to a multiplication question. When we multiply two factors together, we get a product. What about the quotient of?
Division.
D is division. Quotient is the word that we use to describe the answer to a division problem. What about the sum of?
Addition.
Addition. These all are key words that we need to be thinking about when we're writing expressions and equations. Okay, so if we were to have to do all of these, we would look for those keywords if we're unsure in our math book to find out where we would go with those expressions. So let's look at 5. A number divided by 7. That one's pretty evident. Okay, a number divided by 7, hands down. However, when writing expressions involving subtraction or division, order is important. For example, the quotient of a number x and 2 means x divided by 2, not 2 divided by x, okay? And I'll tell you why. It's because with division and subtraction, those two operations don't have the commutative property. Multiplication and addition have the commutative property. You can multiply two numbers in any order and get the same answer, just like you can add any two numbers in the different order and get the same answer, okay? So if we have a number divided by 7, in your mind, how would you write that? Okay, anybody, any takers? On number 5, a number divided by 7. Yes. X divided by or x division by 7. Okay, let's check. Remember this page in our notes for when we were talking about fractions? Okay. Anywhere you see the purple, just think, okay, if it's this way, then that's the divided by number, the divisor is. Okay, and then down here, this is the divided by number, right? Okay, so if I was asking you to write that sentence, it would have been exactly the way she said it. What did you say again?
X divided by 7.
Yep, that expression was x divided by 7. I had even forgotten what number it was divided by in that short of time. So yeah, Frandsen's forgetter is working really good today. Yep, so this would have been the correct way to write that, okay? If you wrote it the other way, it would be 7 divided by x, and it would be a whole different answer, wouldn't it? We experienced that last week when we were flipping and flopping our divisor, when we had that one fraction problem, okay? It is very important when you're writing expressions with subtraction and division that you really think about where those numbers go in your expression. Okay, number 6, 13 decreased by a number. Here's our key word, decreased by, and that happens to be in this section, the subtraction sentence section. How would you do that one, Brody? 13 minus x. Good. Number 7, 4 increased by a number. Okay, so that's in the addition section, isn't it? Thor.
4 plus
X. Any variable, but they told us to use x this time, so we'll use x. 4 plus x. How about 8? The product of a number and 5. This way. X times 5 works. X times 5. Who has another way? Sophie? This one. That way. That also means the product of a number and 5. Okay, that's the most common way that we represent multiplying a coefficient to a variable, 5x. Okay, the other way works, but it's just a little less, it's a little more work. Think of it that way. You have to write more things. Mathematicians are inherently lazy, so we want to write as few things as possible. Number 9, 15 more than another number. 15 more than another number. Shelby. 15 plus x, I would accept that. Could we go x plus 15 in this case since it's adding? Yes, you could. How about number 10? Rebecca.
X minus 6.
X minus 6. Very good. She saw the word fewer. It knew it was in the subtraction column. And then she thought 6 fewer than a number. This has to be the number we're subtracting 6 from. because it's 6 fewer than the original number. Very good, x minus 6. Okay, so we're doing some more of this today in our homework. Again, please remember the divisor is the one that's doing the dividing by. So this guy here is getting divided into equal parts. He's the divided by number. This guy here is getting divided into equal parts, and this is the guy doing the dividing by, and so on, okay? Now, I want you to, again, kind of work through this in your head. Which one of these expressions would work best for question 29? Which one of these expressions would work best for 30? Okay, and so on and so forth. You don't have to write anything down unless you want to. You sure could, but you don't have to. Yes. He has an answer for A, and you're saying A goes to which number? 29, 30, 31, or 32?
29.
I disagree. If you've spent $20 on 5 shirts, then we need to do something different to find out the cost per one. Remember, that's a unit rate. And what do we do when we have to find unit rate? Sophie thinks she knows. Carson thinks he knows. All right, McKenna, what do you think? Technically, that is correct. Okay, 5 times some number equals 20. Very good. So far, 5 people have signed up to attend a webinar. There's room for a total of 20 people. How many more people can attend the seminar? So I'm seeing the keywords total and how many more. Now what do you think, Thor?
1A.
A, 30 is A. If you have 5 and you add some number, how many do you need to add to get up to 20? Very good. How about 31? Let's think of that one. Before you give me an answer, though, I want the key word that made you think that this was the right answer. Or key words, I guess. There's 2 of them that would help me know. I keep calling on people in my class. I bet there's people all over that want to answer this question. What do you have, Sophie? What are the key words that made you know which one is to pick? She said total and split equally. Very good. So what's the answer? D. Whenever you have to split equally, that means divide. So some number divided by 5 equals 20. All right, number 32. 20 of the people invited to a dinner party came to the party. 5 of the people didn't show up. How many people were invited to the dinner? We all know it's B, don't we? Because it's the process of elimination. So some number subtract 5 equals 20. So how many people were initially invited? No, 20 people came. 25 was the number of people invited, and then 5 didn't show up, so only 20 were in attendance. Very good. These are the types of problems we're going to be doing for our homework today. You must show your work on the following questions. So you do have to get either a separate sheet of paper or show your work neatly and organized on the back of your worksheet. Your job is to complete the worksheet due for tomorrow. It's called a mouse's favorite television show. What is a mouse's favorite television show? Please don't be moving yet. I'm still giving directions, so you don't even need your worksheet or anything out yet. Remember to find common denominators for adding and subtracting fractions, especially on question number 3. Okay, I wanted to show you this because some of us are forgetting that when you multiply and divide, you don't need common denominators, but you have to find common denominators when you add and subtract. So if you're wondering how to do that, we all should have this in our folder. Remember that packet of notes we did with all the cheat sheets on how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions and mixed numbers? That should be helpful. You should have that. Okay. And then there was a reminder slide I wanted to show you. Reminders, Mrs. Franzen is here most Fridays from 8 a.m. to noon. And you can log into my Google Live to see me and just ask for help. Okay, every Friday from 8 a.m. to noon. Or if you're at home working on your homework, you could text me at this number. This should not be news, okay? And then thirdly, extra credit is due by Thursday to get it on this report card grade. So if you're sitting somewhere you don't want to be sitting, a grade you don't like, you have until Thursday to do those extra credit fun sheets with coloring, and I will get you extra credit in your grade. Okay, so today your homework is another worksheet, and you need to answer the questions 1 through 3, 10 through 15, showing your work. The rest of them are in your head type of questions. I'm going to pass out the papers now, so please be ready. No talking, I'm still unmuted. Okay, so now that you have your papers at your desk, or hopefully you do, get your pencil ready and put your name at the top. It is the 11th, I think.
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Your name at the top, and then circle these question numbers. Circle questions 1, 2, 3. You must show your work on a separate paper for those, and then skip down to the bottom, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. You must show your work down there. Okay? So you will be attaching a second sheet of paper to this. Are there any questions, or do you need to see a different slide, like the one that has the adding fractions notes on it? I have one person that wants to see the adding fractions notes page. Huh? It should be in your Google Drive in the math section, in the math live color group as a material. Yep. But remember, we filled them in too with more notes. Okay. Zach.
I don't grab no paper from the locker.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to mute from here, and then if anybody from any classes has any questions, they can pop on and ask. And I'm also going to say goodbye for the recording section because we don't need any more recording for today.